Welcome, my name is Colleen Tauke and I'm a sewing specialist here at Fons and Porter. In this Quilting Quickly tutorial, I'm going to show you how to put together the quilt called Cogs and Cams. If you'd like to purchase this pattern, please visit our website. We're going to be using 2.5-inch strips of pre-cuts today, and we're going to coordinate this wonderful quilt behind me. It's a really quick to put together quilt, one block, small, easy process. So let's get started. We're using some really warm color fabrics here, ready for almost like a wintertime snuggle quilt. And we're putting a creamy yellow background with it. And then we're going to be cutting off those 2-inch strips some really simple pieces of 6.5 and 2.5. You can see the block here. It's one block. If I isolate these two pieces, this is the block right here that we're going to be constructing. You'll see two identical blocks across from each other put together to make this design. So we're going to be making first this and then adding some of those cheater corners to two corners of it, and away we go with making our blocks. So from each of the strips, we're going to be able to cut 4 6.5-inch pieces and 4 2.5-inch squares. And I've got one constructed already here. We're going to be making down that center piece. So your squares are here. You've got background squares, and those are all cut the same size, all 2.5-inch. Really easy cutting there. And then those 6.5-inch bars are put on each side. So we've got one here and one on this side. So when you're cutting your pieces from your strips, take a set of the 6.5, a set of the 2.5s, and put them together because they're going to make a block. So just keep them organized, stacked that way, and then when you go to sit down to sew, it'll be a real fast process and you can put together pieces. Everything will be coordinated for you. So once you've created pieces that look like this, the next step, and if you haven't done a cheater corner or a flippy corner we call it, you're going to be using pieces, simple squares. On the back side of each of the squares, we're going to be marking with a fabric pen or something that's water soluble so that it'll disappear after we're done sewing. This is a heat sensitive ink called a friction pen, which you can find at our site to make for a fun little tool. What we're going to do is mark diagonally corner to corner across those blocks. And then I'm going to slide this one in. We're going to pretend like this is our diagram because in the pattern it'll show you exactly how to place these. We're going to put one here and one right here. Now the placement of those is kind of important. If you have it turned wrong, you're going to be sewing into nothing. So if you were to put them on like this and sew, you'd be going towards the center, and when you went to flip it, it wouldn't make the right shape. So make sure that it kind of cuts off the corners. And I'm just going to put a pin in this to tag it so I can get it to the sewing machine, and we'll sew those diagonal seams. Once we get to the machine, we can line things up nice and neat. But if you have them kind of pinned, kind of just joined until you get it to your machine, you could have a whole stack of them here, and you could sit and sew down through a whole bunch of blocks at once, kind of speeding up the process a bit. Okay, we're going to sew diagonal seam, corner to corner. I'll just do one of them here quickly so you can see what happens. When I open it up, we're going to be pressing in the outward corner like this. And I'm just going to finger press it for now. Take it to the iron and heat set it, but finger pressing works just for demonstration purposes. Now we have 3 layers here. We have 2 of the light and the dark at the bottom. We need to take these 2 away. So what we're going to do is go in with the scissors and we're going to trim away, leaving approximately a 1/4 inch seam allowance. At this point it doesn't have to be perfect because the seaming is already done. And then you know you've got the corner, kind of a flippy corner replacement we call it out here. You do the same process here, trimming again, and then you'll have this kind of a shape. You create pairs, and we'll just rotate this around so you can see that here's where the block goes. Its mate then goes here, and then 2 of another print go together, and you can see in this quilt that they've paired up 2 reds, 2 browns, 2 greens, 2 blues. You could do a variation if you'd like. You could mix and match those. But in this way, it makes a really large statement of big blocks that looks similar to this. And you get that little square in the center as the flippy corners all join. So you're going to make 20 of those blocks, 4 blocks across, 5 rows down. When you've got those all joined, then you add a light, use that background fabric, and do kind of a floating border on there and finish with red binding, and you have cogs and cams. If you'd like to see more of our Quilting Quickly tutorials, please visit our website. Thanks for joining me today.